McMorris-Santoro, Lynn Sweet, and Joy Reid. And, you know, we thought we just, the story of the week, obviously, is Ferguson. We thought we would just sort of talk around a week in where we are right now. You know, we have obviously, the news overnight, and we have the state highway, the state police basically coming in, President Obama weighing in this week. Joy, looking at this just, you know, with a week's perspective right now, just curious what your thoughts are.
Well, I mean, how many mistakes, missteps, and wrong turns can you see out of one police force, well, two police forces when you count both the Ferguson police and the St. Louis County Police, and the governor, who I think, you know, probably best advised Hillary Clinton would be to not even think about putting him in the cabinet because he's been a disaster. I mean, I think it's been incredible to watch an entire state's worth of politicians. Very few exceptions. I think Claire McCaskill was out there and did a pretty good job. But you've just seen a complete breakdown in what appears to be authority. Other than Ron Johnson, who's come in and now been sort of a star, it's just been a complete breakdown. And I think the police made a colossal mistake yesterday by responding to very broad media requests for those police reports, those incident reports about the shooting, by giving us different incident reports that were about a robbery that they now admit is not even related to the shooting. And saying it's because the media asked for it, when the media clearly didn't. I mean, the media was asking for incident reports. We were, I'm sure you guys were, our producers were calling and asking. The incident reports we wanted were very clear. It was the ones about the shooting. And so I think this attempt to try to protect the officer at every turn, whether it's the city police or the county police, it does appear that everything they've done has been about protecting the officer and not about providing the public with information it's entitled to under public disclosure laws.
Well, if I may pull up the scope a bit, just think, a few months ago, we were celebrating the anniversary of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And then you have this kind of racially explosive situation in Missouri. So, I mean, that's one big injection, once again, of where do we stand in civil rights in the nation. Once again, this has dragged President Obama into a discussion of civil rights, which is not anything that he had. You know, he dips in, he dips out. You know, the White House started this effort of, you know, using the Becoming a Man program and trying to deal with race-related issues, but now the context is shifting. It's polarizing. Well, yeah, one more quick thing. Yeah. It has brought a whole new subject into discussion, which is the militarization of local police forces. It's an issue a lot of us really weren't covering or were aware of, the amount of surplus Pentagon equipment that is going to police forces, and that is actually being highlighted in a very thoughtful way by, of all people, Senator Reid.
Well, that's right. It's jumbling party lines. But Evan, I wonder, President Obama's role this week in speaking out. I wonder what you made of the remarks he made. So some people were saying you compare it to, and Lynn, I think you were the one who asked the question back in 2009 about the Cambridge police, and he was a lot maybe less reserved in what he said in 2009 than what he said this week.
Yeah, I mean, an underplayed story in this whole thing is how engaged the administration kind of is in this, even though Obama gave a statement that was like fairly tepid, I think, and got some criticism. Eric Holder, on the other hand, and the Justice Department, there are 6 agencies on the ground in Ferguson now, and that includes the FBI, which is doing its own investigation into the death. Eric Holder spoke about militarization. Eric Holder spoke about police tactics in his statement. Eric Holder has been talking about, you know, the civil rights issues and all the stuff that goes on with that. So it's sort of this weird double track that we see with the Obama administration quite often, where Obama goes out there, because when he sort of said some stuff that has been more strong against police, right? We think back to the Skip Gates situation. We think back to Trayvon Martin. That tends to cause a big kerfuffle for the White House, whereas when Eric Holder says really tough stuff about the police, that it doesn't seem to cause much of a problem. So, I mean, Obama comes out and does his sort of statement, and Eric Holder, right the same day on the same track, is a very strong statement against police militarization, police tactics down there, concerned about everything.
We talk about the bully pulpit of the presidency all the time, but you also have the Justice Department at your disposal, and that makes a big difference too. My thanks, though, to Evan McMorris-Santoro from BuzzFeed, Lynn Sweet, Chicago Sun-Times, MSNBC's Joy Reid. Appreciate you all joining us this morning. To there and back.